Hello, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Layla, and as you can tell by the title of this video, I'm going to be talking about my reading list. I guess this is something new here on my channel. I just figured I would share the books that I'll be reading for the rest of the year, so for the fall and the winter. There's only about 4 months left in the year, so I only have a few books that I want to read for the rest of the year just because I have a lot of other plans and projects going on. But I try to read at least one book a month, so I just wanted to quickly go over those. I also created a Goodreads account, which I'll link down below so you can follow me on there and we can become friends on there. You can see what I've read in the past, you can see what I plan on reading in the future, and then you basically like rate books as you read them. It's free to use, but I'll link mine down below. So let's just go ahead and get started. I will link all of the books that I mentioned down below. The first one is a book slash journal diary, and I wanted to mention it just because I think it's gonna be really big for me, hopefully. And I did not know that this diary started out with a book. It starts out with like a story, and there's a lot of useful content at the beginning. So I am currently reading this one. I am like, let's see, 38 pages in, and you see it's like still a book. Like he is explaining everything. He explains his story. He talks about some tips with journaling. And then after the story, you basically spend 6 minutes every day, 3 minutes in the morning, 3 minutes at night, writing down a number of things, and then you check in every week and he asks like a number of questions. I don't know, it seems pretty cool. I'm really excited to fill it out. So once I finish reading the first part of it, I think it's only like 70 pages or something of actual reading, and then I'm gonna start filling this in every morning and every evening. And I'll probably end up doing a full review on this, at least on my blog, but I'm pretty excited about it just because I think mindset is really important, and that's kind of what this is all about. So you're like writing down things you're grateful for, writing about how you can improve for the next day. You can write affirmations and goals, and there's like a section for notes each week. I like how basic it is. I think this came in 3 colors. I chose gray, but I am really excited to actually start using it. The next book I plan on reading, obviously once I finish that, and while I will still be filling out the journal as I'm reading, but it is Breaking the Habit of Being Yourself. And this is by Dr. Joe Dispenza. I've heard a lot of good things by this book. Most specifically, my life coach, I'm part of a coaching program right now, and her name is Natalie Bacon. You may have heard of her. She's a blogger and a multiple 6-figure entrepreneur, and she has recommended this book multiple times. I love that it's so long and it seems like there's a lot of useful information in it. It says how to lose your mind and create a new one. So basically just breaking those thought patterns is what I'm assuming from this. I'll go ahead and read the little synopsis. You are not doomed by your genes and hardwired to be a certain way for the rest of your life. A new science is emerging that empowers all human beings to create the reality they choose. In Breaking the Habit of Being Yourself, renowned author, speaker, researcher, and chiropractor Dr. Joe Dispenza combines the fields of quantum physics, neuroscience, brain chemistry, biology, and genetics to show you what is truly possible. Not only will you be given the necessary knowledge to change any aspect of yourself, but you will be taught the step-by-step tools to apply what you learn in order to make measurable changes in any area of your life. Dr. Joe demystifies ancient understandings and bridges the gap between science and spirituality. Through his powerful workshops and lectures, thousands of people in 24 different countries have used these principles to change from the inside out. Once you break the habit of being yourself and truly change your mind, your life will never be the same. This one is first, so I'm pretty excited about that. I also want to read Grit by Angela Duckworth. My sister actually got me this for my birthday, and I had already started reading it. I got through a couple of chapters, but I decided that I go through not phases, but like if a book is really speaking to me at a certain time, or I just like feel like I need something different in my life at that moment, then I'll like switch to a different book. So I was reading this and didn't feel like I needed it right now. There was a book that I read in the past and I started reading that one instead, so I like am finishing that one up. So I switched to that book, and we'll continue this, or I'm going to start it over the next few months. But this one is about the power of passion and perseverance. So basically just not giving up. And I think that's something that's really important to me, because I have stuck to my goals for years now, even though like I haven't progressed as much as I would have liked to. But I am a firm believer in just continuing and persevering, even though you may not be getting what you want or expect. So for Grit, let's see. In this must-read book for anyone striving to succeed, pioneering psychologist Angela Duckworth shows parents, students, educators, athletes, and business people, both seasoned and new, that the secret to outstanding achievement is not talent, but a special blend of passion and persistence she calls grit. Drawing on her own powerful story as the daughter of a scientist who frequently noted her lack of genius, Duckworth, now a celebrated researcher and professor, describes her early eye-opening stints in teaching, business consulting, and neuroscience, which led to the hypothesis what really drives success is not genius, but a unique combination of passion and long-term perseverance. In Grit, she takes readers into the field to visit cadets struggling through their first days at West Point, teachers working in some of the toughest schools, and young finalists in the National Spelling Bee. She also mines fascinating insights from history and shows what can be gleaned from modern experiments in peak performance. Finally, she shares what she learned from interviewing dozens of high achievers. The next book is Stop Doing That Shit. End Self-Sabotage and Demand Your Life Back by Gary John Bishop. My boyfriend had actually bought the book on Yourself from this author as well, and I read that book, which I did really like. I like the way he writes. It's very easy to follow and easy to read. My mom got me this for my birthday, and I think this is a book that like everybody could use. It says, no more excuses, demand your life back. You know you shouldn't, but you do. You know you should, but you don't. Over and over and over. Whether you're in a career or life rut, can't find the right partner, struggle with saving money or meeting your health goals, whatever your thing is, it all comes down to self-sabotage, and you're tired of it. You can't just keep responding in ordinary ways if you are truly out to live an extraordinary life. Stop doing that shit, put your hands on the levers and dials of your deepest subconscious machinery, and empowers you to translate your most negative thoughts and behaviors into the kind of life you have always wanted but never quite knew how to get. Prepare to turn everything you ever knew about yourself on its head. And then the final book that I want to read of 2019 is 10% Happier, How I Tamed the Voice in My Head, Reduced Stress Without Losing My Edge, and Found Self-Help That Actually Works, a true story. This is by Dan Harris. And I've also heard really good things about this. I think it's more so about meditation. I actually did start reading this. Again, I got a couple chapters in, but I had that feeling of like, I don't need this right now. I don't want to read this right now. And so I do want to finish it this year. It's probably something that I'll read closer to the end of the year, maybe in December or something, because that's always when I have like a new flush of energy, I guess, just because with like the new year you can start incorporating new habits like meditating and all that stuff. So here is the summary for this. After having a nationally televised panic attack, Dan Harris knew he had to make some changes. A lifelong non-believer, he found himself on a bizarre adventure involving a disgraced pastor, a mysterious self-help guru, and a gaggle of brain scientists. Eventually, Harris realized that the source of his problems was the very thing he always thought was his greatest asset, the incessant, insatiable voice in his head, which had propelled him through the ranks of hyper-competitive business, but had also led him to make the profoundly stupid decisions that provoked his on-air freakout. Eventually, Harris stumbled upon an effective way to rein in that voice, something he always assumed to be either impossible or useless. Meditation, a tool that research suggests can do everything from lower your blood pressure to essentially rewire your brain. 10% Happier takes readers on a ride from the outer reaches of neuroscience, the inner sanctum of network news, to the bizarre fringes of America's spiritual scene, and leaves them with a takeaway that could actually change their lives. So those are the few books that I want to read for the rest of 2019. I've probably read over 10 already this year. I'm honestly not sure. I will put them, I just created my Goodreads account, so I will put those in my Goodreads account, the ones that I have read for this year or maybe ever, I don't know, and rate them. I honestly only read personal development, business, spiritual books, just because that is what I prefer to read. I don't really enjoy reading fiction books anymore. So most of what you'll find on my Goodreads account are personal development, business, or spiritual books. So I'm sorry if that's not something you're interested in, but I do think they are one of the best things in life. These are like, books are one of the only things I collect just because I love them so much, and I think I always learn something from every book that I read. And what I love is that books are so accessible, they're pretty affordable, and I always buy my books used. I never buy them new, that's pretty rare. But they're so accessible, and these people who write them are, you know, millionaires, they're entrepreneurs, they're geniuses, they're doctors, scientists, whatever, and you can have a little piece of their brain and their mindset right in your hands. So I think that's kind of exciting, which is why I love to read those so much. I just like to change my mindset and try to improve as much as possible. So they'll all be linked down below, but that's all I'll be reading for fall and winter this year. Comment down below what books you plan on reading, or if you've read any of these books and what you thought of them. Go follow me on Goodreads, and don't forget to like and subscribe if you aren't already. But thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in my next video.